Muslims across America just got the worst news of their lives moments after Michigan terror attack today. Earlier today, travel came to a complete halt after there was a harrowing attack that took place inside Bishop International Airport, in Flint, Michigan. As we all know, Michigan is a hotbed for Muslims as they have taken over the nearby city of Dearborn. It did not take long for the country to discover that a radical Muslim was at the center of this horrific attack. Now, just hours after the terror attack, Muslims around the country just received some bad news. Authorities in Michigan are still piecing together the tragic events that led up to today's terror attack. But, what we do know is that a radical Muslim armed with a knife stabbed Lieutenant Jeff Neville in the neck. During the time of the attack, witnesses said that they heard the deranged Muslim shout Allahu Akbar. Neville was rushed to a nearby hospital fighting for his life and has been listed in critical condition. The officer, identified as Lieutenant Jeff Neville, is in critical condition after being stabbed in the neck at Bishop International Airport, Breaking 911 reported. The Canadian-born suspect was shouting Allahu Akbar during the attack, witnesses said. The unnamed male suspect was taken into custody alive. Michigan has been infiltrated by Muslims thanks to Barack Obama's refugee program. These programs brought in thousands of unvetted, radical Muslims that are hell-bent on destroying the Western world. That is why it has been incredibly important for our country to tighten our borders so that these vermin cannot continue to pour in. Which is exactly why Donald Trump was elected as president. The bleeding heart liberals in America continue to push back against Trump with their protests and silly resist campaigns. They have tried to demonize conservatives, calling them racists and bigots for wanting to protect our borders, but none of it is working. It has not been an easy road for President Trump over the past few months, but that has not stopped him from pushing forward. Now a recent poll shows that President Trump has gained popularity in one specific area that has Muslims and liberals screeching. According to CNBC's quarterly All-American survey, President Trump is gaining ground in halting immigration from specific Middle Eastern and African countries. Public support for President Trump's controversial travel ban actually rose 1 point. 44% of Americans polled now say they strongly or somewhat support the ban. Now, some may say that is not a big deal, but in all reality it actually is. You see, those who have been opposing the ban also fell slightly from 50% to 49%. Plus, the respondents who said they strongly opposed the plan saw a steeper decline, to 32% from 36%. It seems that the recent terror attacks around the globe and now on American soil are starting to hit home. But, in all honesty, I believe that those numbers are much higher than this poll says. Here is more from Breitbart on other issues on the Trump agenda. The share of Americans who say they somewhat or strongly support the administration's plans to rebuild American infrastructure, for example, has declined to 62% from 75% 3 months earlier. Support for individual tax cuts has fallen to 59% from 64%, while support for cuts to business taxes fell to 50% from 54%. Renegotiating trade deals has lost support, falling to 50% from 58%. Support for regulatory relief has declined to 44% from 47%. Public support for repealing Obamacare very nearly held steady, losing just 1 percentage point of support from 45% to 44%. But the public remains strongly divided on healthcare, with opposition to the administration's repeal and replace plans edging up to 38% from 37% in April. Considering that there was a terror attack today, I can only imagine that President Trump will push harder for the travel ban. It is way past the time for this extra sense of security for our country. For way too long we have been sitting wide open for attacks by these deranged Muslims. Obama knew exactly what he was doing when he ushered in all these refugees into the country. By labeling Islam a religion of peace, Obama emboldened Muslims and made them a special class of citizens.